Have you been away from the toxic person, the narcissist, the toxic person in your life, and you still go back? Maybe you still go back to them. Maybe you still go back to places that you've been or things that you've done, and it doesn't really seem to help or affect or give you closure or make you move on. It just hurts. What you might be going through and what you might be dealing with as you engage in different practices of driving by their house, or reminiscing over a certain spot, or thinking and ruminating over things that have happened in the relationship. What you might actually be tapping into is the idea of pain shopping. Because a lot of times people, after they've gone no contact, when they've broken up with the narcissist, end up shopping for pain, sometimes for an emotional fix, sometimes to be able to think through of how to get closure, sometimes because they can't make sense of what's going on. But I want to ask you today, are you pain shopping after the narcissist? If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness, growth, healing, and change. We do it on all different platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify. If you don't follow us on any of those, give us a follow to be able to help support in those communities, or join in some of the lives we do every once in a while to be able to help people understand what narcissism is, to bring that awareness of what people are actually struggling through and help people to grow, heal, and change along that process. We'd love to have you engaged in an elite community of people that are dedicated to their healing inside the NARC app. If you guys don't know what that is, go to narcapp.com, NARCAPP, narcapp.com, to be able to see more of what it is, because it stands for Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community. It's a community of like-minded people to help you heal, grow, and change. There's people every single day that are inside that app that are helping give advice, encouragement, support to help you through the crazy making that you've been going through. You can log in, you can take different courses, you can do different exercises, you can log in to be able to track your no contact, to journal your truth that you've been going through, and to be able to ask questions, join weekly lives that are secured inside the app, and monthly coaching where we bring in for other coaches from across the globe to help encourage and support you moving forward. We'd love to have you join and be a part of that. Go to narcapp.com. If you haven't had a chance to be able to check out the new journal that we've just released, it's called From Fantasy to Reality. It's in the link in the bio, but it's also on Amazon.com. And what it is, it's got over 100 prompts in there to start giving you more of a thought process and a prompting to know, hey, let me go ahead and start asking myself some of the hard questions. We've had a lot of good reviews about that, as far as people that have gone through it and be like, whoa, like this is actually challenging my thought process and my beliefs coming away from a narcissistic relationship. If you guys want to talk to me one-on-one, would love to interact with you, go to rawmotivations.com. Anyways, jumping in today, are you pain shopping after the narcissist? You see, after you've been with a narcissist, we normally talk about going no contact. We normally talk about, hey, you need to get to the place where you ghost, where you block, where there's no contact, where there's absolutely no contact at all. Like nothing. You don't see them, you don't interact with them, you don't hear about them, you don't stalk them on Facebook, you don't drive by their house, you don't ask friends about them, anything like that. No contact. And no contact is possible. And for everybody that's going to comment, what about the kids? Check out some of the videos I have about no contact with kids and about kids, because a lot of times it is possible. The biggest hurdle is first saying, hey, it's not that you can't, it's that it is possible. It might suck and it might be really hard, but a lot of times it is possible, more than what you think. Okay. No contact is hard for everybody. Okay. Because no contact starts to break through some of that aspect of the trauma bond. It starts to break through some of the aspect of like, hey, I love this person, but now I need to push them away and not interact with them at all. And that's really hard. One thing that does not get talked about enough on any of these platforms is the idea that after no contact, it gets worse. Okay, it gets really bad in the relationship, but after no contact, mentally and emotionally, it feels like it gets worse, because you're actually getting ready to go through detox phase. And it gets harder before it actually gets better. It gets more difficult, and the mind starts to battle saying like, I don't think I can do this, before you actually break free. And that's why it's important to get to the place where you separate from all forms of contact, interaction with them, seeing them, interacting with friends that are going to tell you about them, anything like that, because all you do is re-traumatize a wound that's there, and it doesn't help you with that healing process. Okay, so what is pain shopping? That might be a newer phrase for you. There's a newer phrase for me as I was looking it up and I was trying to get more information about it. But pain shopping is the idea of where you're going through life and you're looking for or you're looking at things that you know will do nothing but hurt you. And oftentimes when you've been away from a narcissist, when you've gotten free from that toxic relationship, you know, hey, every time I revisit this, every time I bring this up, every time I talk about this, every time I focus on this, it just brings up pain. But sometimes people do that to be able to feel and to be able to think this is what's actually going on. You see, the thing with pain shopping is the only purpose really of pain shopping is that it upsets you, is that it causes pain. It's not meant as a healing thing. You know, it's not something that you go and you're shopping for pain and healing and we slowly get rid of the pain and we start on the healing. It's not like people keep going back to the same thing, wondering why does it feel so painful every single time? Sometimes people do this in particular in the aspect of closure, of where you're looking for evidence that you already know. You're looking for something that you already have the evidence, you already have the knowledge and understanding of what's actually happening in the relationship. Oftentimes people are looking for closure where they want the other person just to admit what they did. The problem is you're not going to get that from a narcissist. You're not going to have them admit what they did or admit that they did anything wrong. So you keep looking for something that you already know, that you already have the data and the demonstration and the illustration of what's been going on in that relationship. And as a result, you're like, I just want to know this, but you already do. You just want the other person to admit it to validate you. So you have to kind of take a step back and take a look at that. Sometimes when people are doing pain shopping, like I mentioned, they're pain shopping to feel. Because becoming from a narcissistic relationship, you get so numb, you get to the place of like, I don't know how to be able to process this. I don't know how to be able to feel these things. And as a result, people go out and they start to pain shop. They start to go by the person's house, interact, ask people about them, restock them on social media, like all different kinds of things. They'll do this, they'll do the pain shopping to get an emotional fix. Okay, like the idea of like, I just want to be able to feel something. I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to process stuff. I don't know how to work through stuff right now. So I need to feel something. So people bring up and let me feel the negative. That way that I know that I still feel. Okay. My therapist called this one time even like the idea of like emotional cutting. Like it's still bringing up the pain. It's still interacting with it. And it's not in a healing way. It's just to be able to feel and just to be able to interact with that. Sometimes it's a little bit on the opposite side where people are feeling the negative emotions, they're feeling the negative feelings, and they hate it, and they're like, I need to get this fix in one sense by looking up on social media, by driving by trying to interact, by ask questions. Like they try to fix it with any type of like interaction. The thing is, what you have to realize is pain shopping a lot of times to get that fix or to feel is along the lines of people that are trying to self-regulate an addiction, but they don't really know what's going on. A lot of times it's based on compulsion of I just need to do this. I need to get that closure. I need to interact with them. Like I just need to go back. And then that's the aspect of the trauma bond. The trauma bond is based on that feeling of addiction of where you know logically, like I don't want to do this. You know logically, like I hate this. Like I don't want to be with this person, but I still want to be with them. And a lot of times when people get into an addictive nature and an addiction with a narcissist, that trauma bond piece, they don't like it, they hate it, but they also don't know how to stop it. So a lot of times they keep going back time and time and time again. Sometimes I'll refer to this with working with different people and talking to different clients as limbo land. And limbo land is that detox phase. It's the phase in between going no contact and the phase of developing yourself moving forward. But there's like a limbo land of like this detox phase is really dicey sometimes of what's going to happen and which direction I'm actually going to go. Oftentimes it's the aspect of where you feel some peace because the narcissist isn't in your life. You're not constantly getting abused or that person being in person yelling and screaming at you, but the peace doesn't feel peaceful. Because you're going through a detox phase where you're used to interacting with this person. You're used to texting them all the time, or responding to them, or seeing them, or holding them, or touching them, whatever it might be. You're used to a lot of that. And as a result, it takes a while to get through that phase and get the detox effect out of your body. It affects all aspects. Your mind, your emotion, your body, all different things. And sometimes people have mental, emotional, and physical ramifications coming out of that relationship and detoxing from that addictive person. The thing is, you have to work through that. You have to work through limbo land. You have to work through the detox phase, where a lot of times people slide back into the trauma bond. And I try to work with people to help them get through that, but then also develop a sense of direction and purpose. Because otherwise, your mind oftentimes will play tricks on you and will try to pull you back thinking, hey, it's a lot easier to pain shop right now than it is to work through the feelings. It's a lot easier to go back to the addiction than it is to actually say, no, I'm done with that, and we're going to continue moving forward. And oftentimes your mind will minimize, it'll play tricks on you to try to get you to go back to a toxic relationship and go back to someone that is toxic and ultimately damaging you emotionally, mentally, or physically. And that's the aspect of the trauma bond where you know, but you still want to go back. Okay, so I want to encourage you today to stop shopping for pain. Let's do the work. Let's work on rewiring your mindset, changing the story that you believe to be able to help you move forward on that healing journey to change into a growth mindset that's going to continue to develop you down the road to be happy, healthy, healed, and whole, to continue that process. Because we have to get to the aspect of basing your story on the truth, and that is what will set you free.